When you picture our Ice Age ancestors, you probably imagine fearless hunters taking down woolly mammoths with giant spears. And you're not wrong, that's definitely part of the story. But it's not what made us the most dominant species on a frozen planet. The real key to our survival wasn't a weapon of conquest at all. It was a piece of technology so small, so simple, it's been almost completely ignored. This is the story of how a tiny invention, no bigger than your finger, allowed us to conquer the Ice Age and change the course of human history forever. To get why this little invention was such a big deal, you have to picture the world it was born into. This wasn't just a planet having a bad winter. This was the last glacial maximum, a time when massive ice sheets, miles thick, covered huge parts of North America and Eurasia. The average global temperature was brutally cold, and the wind was a constant life-stealing predator. For the small bands of Homo sapiens trying to make a living, every single day was a battle for calories and warmth. Our imagination loves to fill this world with epic hunts. We see powerful figures in rough furs, driving stone-tipped spears into colossal mammoths and woolly rhinos. And that absolutely happened. The spear was an incredible tool, a force multiplier that let us hunt prey many times our size. It gave us the two things we needed most: calorie-dense meat and fat to fuel our bodies, and thick hides for protection. For the longest time, this was the accepted story of our survival. We were the mighty hunters who conquered the ice with bravery and sharp stones. The spear was our Excalibur, the symbol of our dominance. But this picture has a huge, fatal flaw. You can kill the biggest mammoth on the plain, but that only solves one problem. What do you do for the other 23.5 hours of the day? How do you survive the night when the temperature plummets and the real enemy, the cold, creeps into your shelter? The answer, it turns out, wasn't about being a better hunter. It was about being a better tailor. In the Ice Age, the biggest threat wasn't a charging beast. It was a slow, silent killer: hypothermia. Even a mild case messes with your judgment, slows you down, and can start a spiral of bad decisions that ends in death. In a world where a twisted ankle could be a death sentence, staying warm wasn't about comfort. It was the absolute foundation of survival. And the old idea that our ancestors just draped themselves in thick animal hides doesn't really hold up. A simple, untailored hide, worn as a poncho, is terrible at keeping you warm. It's heavy, clumsy, and leaves huge gaps for wind and moisture to get in. Every time you move, you're pumping bellows of cold air against your skin, sucking away precious body heat. If it gets wet, a hide becomes a death shroud, a waterlogged weight that just makes you colder, faster. Early humans and even Neanderthals used hide scrapers and simple piercing tools called awls for tens of thousands of years. But those only allowed for basic poncho-style covering. They were better than nothing, but they couldn't beat the relentless cold of the northern latitudes. This was the great filter of the Ice Age. It wasn't just about finding food. It was about conserving the energy from that food. Every shiver was a calorie burned, a resource you couldn't get back. Humanity was stuck. We could survive in warmer zones, but the vast, resource-rich northern continents were a frozen fortress. To break through, we didn't need a sharper spear. We needed a better way to seal the gaps in our armor against the cold. The solution appeared around 40,000 to 50,000 years ago, not with a bang, but with a quiet innovation carved from bone. The oldest definitive examples, found in places like Denisova Cave in Siberia, are slivers of bird bone, barely a few inches long, sharpened to a point. But it's the other end that marks a leap in thinking that changed everything. A tiny, drilled hole, an eye. This was the world's first eyed needle. Compared to the dramatic image of our hand-axe-wielding ancestors, the needle seems impossibly humble. It's a tool of quiet patience, not brute force. It represents a total shift in thinking, away from brute strength and towards elegant, efficient solutions. And making one was an incredibly delicate process that required immense skill. It's much harder to drill a tiny hole in a sliver of bone without it shattering than it is to just sharpen a point. So why bother? Why did this specific tool pop up right as the climate was diving into the coldest part of the Ice Age? Because the eyed needle doesn't just punch a hole, it carries a thread through that hole in a single fluid motion. That tiny difference is actually a revolution. It's the difference between lacing up a boot and trying to nail it to your foot. For the first time in human history, the eyed needle made complex, efficient sewing possible. And with it, it unlocked the ultimate Ice Age survival technology, tailored clothing. Before the needle, you could wear a hide. After the needle, you could wear a garment. The difference is monumental. Using fine thread, probably made from animal sinew, our ancestors could now stitch together multiple precisely cut pieces of hide. This meant they could create true form-fitting clothing: trousers, shirts, parkas, boots, and mittens. We even have hints of this in the Venus figurines, small statues carved around 25,000 years ago, which show figures with what look like woven caps and belts. This wasn't about fashion. It was about physics. Fitted clothing creates layers, and the most important layer isn't the hide. It's the layer of air trapped between your skin and the garment. That trapped air, warmed by your own body, is the most effective insulator on the planet. Instead of one drafty poncho, you now had a personal portable shelter. A well-made inner layer of soft leather and an outer layer of thick fur could create a microclimate around your body, keeping you warm and dry. The needle also allowed for a level of craftsmanship that made clothing weatherproof. Seams could be stitched tight and overlapped, blocking the wind. It's even possible they used sinew that would swell when wet, sealing the stitch holes and making their gear water-resistant, similar to techniques used by later Inuit cultures. Suddenly, rain and snow weren't an immediate, life-threatening crisis anymore. This was humanity's Gore-Tex moment, 30,000 years before Gore-Tex. It was a technological advantage far more profound than any weapon. It meant less energy wasted shivering and more energy for hunting, thinking, and creating. It meant fewer babies died because they could finally be kept warm. It meant hunting parties could travel farther and stay out longer, dramatically increasing their chances of success. The invention of the eyed needle wasn't just an upgrade. It was a total game changer. It completely transformed our relationship with the environment. We were no longer just hanging on, surviving at the mercy of the climate. For the first time, we were taking control. We were adapting the environment to us by creating a portable, personal bubble of warmth. This is the aha moment. The spear let us kill an animal for a meal. The needle let us wear its skin like a second, better skin, and in doing so, conquer the very cold that shaped its evolution. This single, tiny piece of tech broke the shackles of climate. With warm, layered clothing, humans could push into the frozen heart of Siberia and across the Bering Land Bridge into the Americas. They could follow migrating herds into previously unsurvivable northern lands. The world literally opened up. The regular wearing of clothes also had huge social consequences, allowing for larger, more complex societies to form and thrive in these harsh new places. And recent research points to another fascinating twist. As people started covering their bodies for warmth, the traditional canvas for social signals, body paint, tattoos, scarification, vanished. The needle provided a new one. Clothing became the new skin. At the 34,000-year-old Sungheer burial site, archaeologists found skeletons adorned with thousands of tiny, sewn-on ivory beads. The needle didn't just let us make practical gear, it let us invent fashion, a new language for identity, status, and community. So, the next time you think of our Ice Age ancestors, maybe the first image that comes to mind shouldn't be the dramatic spear strike. Maybe it should be a quieter, more revolutionary scene. A person sheltered from a blizzard, sitting by a fire, hands deftly pushing a fine bone needle through a piece of leather. It's a scene not of brute force, but of human ingenuity. It proves a timeless lesson. The most powerful technologies aren't always the biggest or the loudest. Sometimes the innovations that truly change the world are the ones that are elegant, efficient, and small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. The spear helped us eat for a day. The needle let us inherit the earth. What do you think? What other small invention has had a massive, overlooked impact on history? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing for more stories about the forgotten technologies that made us who we are.